cold email is still one of the best marketing channels in 2025. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly why and how it works. If you don't know me, my name is Jovan and I've helped over 300 agencies book thousands of sales calls. I used AI and cold email to generate hundreds of sales calls for my software development agency Codeful, and I've built Prospi AI, which is an AI cold email platform. Now, I'll try to make this video non-biased, so you can use any software, any platform, any system you want. I'll just explain how it works and why it's the best marketing channel. Now, I have cold email by definition here. You can pause for a second and read the definition, but it's not crucial. What's important is that the people that we email are skeptical by default, and it's our job to change their mind. Now, let's take a look at two different scenarios. The first one is, imagine you're at a coffee shop sitting down to enjoy your drink, and suddenly someone walks up to you, a complete stranger, and they just start talking with you. And they say, something like, hey, I'm a life coach, I help people achieve their dreams, you're probably stuck in some area of your life, I believe I can help you, this is how I do it, blah, blah, blah. Most likely you'll just ignore that person, you'll say, okay, fine, just to be polite, but you don't really care what they're saying, because they gave you no context or introduction, you have no idea who they are, they're too pushy and too soon, meaning without any context, without listening to you first, they immediately start pitching you their service, and there's lack of relevance. They have no idea if you actually need what they are offering you. So most likely your reaction will be you'll just get annoyed and you'll ignore the person. Now let's take a look at the second scenario. Now, you're in the exact same coffee shop, but this time a stranger approaches you with a more casual and friendly way. And they say, hey, I saw you reading this book. I really liked it. I've read this book a couple of times. I really like how they mentioned blah, 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 something about the book. And you're immediately engaged in the conversation because you have something in common, some common ground that you can discuss. And after that, they ask you maybe a question or something like that. And only then they say, hey, I can actually help you. I'm a life coach. If you're interested, I can send you some materials or something like that to see how I can help you achieve your goals. Now, it's the exact same person, the exact same scenario, but the approach was completely different. Now, in this case, the approach was a lot more relevant and natural because they asked you something about yourself, they mentioned something they already noticed about you, and they're not hard selling anything. Like, it's not, hey, if you're interested in this, I can help you, this is my program. It's more of like, hey, I have some information that you may find useful, would you mind if I share it with you? And lastly, building rapport first. They build a connection before even mentioning what they do. This is pretty similar approach to what we want to achieve with cold email, and I'll get to that in a second. First, we need to understand why cold email works. So if you ever consider scaling your business, I'm sure you saw some of these words online because people keep telling you that cold email does not work, cold email is spam, and cold email is completely dead. It's not reliable as a marketing channel. Now, one thing that we need to understand is that no marketing channel is dead. Everything works when executed properly, meaning the strategies change, the tactics change, but the marketing channel as a whole is still alive. You just need to adapt to the latest principles, the latest technology in order to make it work for your company. Now, one of the things that I like the most about cold email is that it's direct one-to-one outreach, meaning you're not posting something online and hoping the right people see it. You're building the list of the exact people you want to reach out to, and you send them the message directly, meaning there's no distractions out there, like you're directly landing in their inbox and they're seeing your message. So unlike ads or organic search, cold email puts your message directly in front of the recipient, cutting through some of the noise of other channels. So yeah, this is essentially the thing about cold email that I personally like the most, because I can specifically choose who I want to target. And as you probably know, you can't do that with ads or content. The second thing is cold email is scalable. This is what most people do wrong. They start cold emailing people manually by writing every single email by hand, researching prospects and so on. But with the help of the right tools, you can essentially automate the entire process and keep the process the same, meaning you're still personalizing the messages, you're still building the ICP, the list of leads and so on, and you're still sending messages just automatically at scale. This means that even though most people start by sending emails manually, there's a couple of different ways to actually automate and scale the entire approach. One thing that most people need to understand is that cold email scales linearly. What this means is that if you, let's say you send 100 emails, you get 5 replies and you book 1 calls with the right ICP and the right copy or messaging. If you want to do the exact same thing but book 2 calls, you just need to send twice as many emails. This means that when you try to scale, the outputs of your work or your system scale in the same pace as the input. So you send 5 times more emails, you're booking 5 times more calls. Now, of course, there are other things that need to be configured properly, but usually this is how it works. So this point specifically makes cold email one of the most predictable client acquisition methods out there. There's a couple of different approaches when it comes to cold email and the overall marketing or sales funnel. Depending on the approach, depending on what your strategy is, cold email can actually attract or nurture leads in different stages of the sales funnel. Now, let's imagine you're pitching a booked call. Your idea, your goal with cold email is to book as many calls as humanly possible. If you do that, if you pitch the call immediately, it's essentially top of the funnel and middle of the funnel all in the same time. Like there's no nurturing layer. You're immediately asking leads to take a couple of steps and book a call with you. That's one approach. It works great, but the reply rates are usually a bit lower. The other approach, and what I personally suggest, is to build some kind of material, some kind of lead magnets and so on, and then offer that to every single lead on your list through cold email. Now, the difference is some percentage of those leads who accept, who say they're interested in receiving your materials, lead magnets, videos, whatever, some percentage of them will not book the call, but the rest who actually do book the call, they will be much more qualified because they already consumed some of your content. And in this case, cold email serves as a top of the funnel channel. Yeah, depending on the approach, cold email can be both top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, or bottom of the funnel as well. You can sell your services through cold email as well. Now, here are some of the benefits of cold email marketing and why I believe it dominates every other channel available. First of all, it's cost effective. You don't need a team of 50 people managing your systems, your budgets, your content strategy, everything. You need a couple of tools connected together. By the way, I said I won't be biased, but our platform is definitely solving this specific issue, because in one place you can essentially automate the entire process, but that's not the only option. There are other options out there. If you have a list, if you write copy well, and if you use AI for personalization, you can definitely send thousands of emails with less than $1,000 per month. Comparing this to ads, for example, with $1,000, you can't even test a couple of ads. So yeah, it's definitely the most cost effective, and this is why most beginners usually start with cold email. The second one is low barrier to entry. You don't need to be an expert. With the modern tools, with AI, with lead databases and so on, you just need to understand the core principles and see how to adapt them to your specific company, your offering, your target audience, and so on. So the barrier to entry is essentially pretty low if you understand how to use all these tools and how to make the system work. The next thing is immediate feedback. This is similar to ads, but it's much, much more affordable than ads. When you send thousands of cold emails, you know immediately what people are interested in, what they don't care about, and so on. So let's say you have 2 different offers extracted from your service, and you're not 100% sure which one will perform better. So what you do is you build a list of, let's say, 2,000 leads. You do A/B test where 1,000 leads receive offer A and 1,000 leads receive offer B. You wait a day or 2 days and you know immediately which offer performs better. So the inefficient way of scaling is you build the processes, you build the systems and so on, and only then you start pitching that to people. The modern way and the most efficient and effective way is actually pitching your offers to people, and only when you see that someone is interested, only then actually build the offer, the deliverables, and so on. Now, of course, these are all great things that I've said about cold email, but there are definitely some challenges that come to it. The first one would be deliverability issues. Google, Outlook, and other email providers started paying more attention to cold email because their job is to prevent spam. Like they want to protect their users, and I 100% agree that they should do so. Which makes cold email slightly more challenging. Now, if you follow all the latest principles, you actually send messages that are relevant, you have a great quality of your infrastructure, domains, accounts, and so on, you don't have to worry about this. So yeah, this is definitely solvable. You just need to make sure that you're following all the best practices when it comes to deliverability. For example, you don't want to send 5 links in the first email. You don't want to use risky words like 100% money back guarantee and so on. But if you send a clear message, direct message to the right people, you don't have to worry about deliverability. Another challenge is usually people have low initial response rates. This is because they have no idea who their ICP is, what offer they're interested in, what are their pain points, and so on. So it usually takes some time to figure out what actually works. Now, when I say it takes some time, it's nothing compared to, let's say, SEO. With SEO, you need 6 months to only see the first results. With cold email, some time that it takes is usually a week or 2 weeks or something like that. So usually, most often, within the first month, you start getting results. Another thing is it's very competitive. Now, you need to understand that since it's a low barrier to entry, that means that a lot of people can actually do it. Now, what that means in practice is that, let's say you're a web design agency and you use cold email as a marketing channel. There are thousands of web design agencies using the exact same marketing channel. Similar to how when you search for web design on YouTube, you'll see like 100 different channels talking about it. It's very similar with cold email. And in the last couple of years, it became easier and easier to send automated cold emails at scale, meaning a lot more people do it, meaning a lot more recipients or leads became resistant to it. Now, this is also solvable with highly personalized copy and highly relevant copy. If your copy and offer are great, it doesn't matter. Like there can be 1,000 competitors pitching the same service to your audience, but if your offer and messaging is the best, they don't care about the rest. They'll respond to yours. Now, let's take a second to compare what I've just said with other marketing channels. So let's say cold calling. Cold calling is also a great lead gen strategy. And don't listen to people online. It will always work. It's one of the best methods to find new clients. But the challenge is you can't really automate it. Like you can try with AI, but people will very quickly catch on and see that you're actually using robots to call them. So you need actual people dialing all these leads and so on. So yeah, it works great, but it's not very scalable. You need to hire and manage a lot of people if you want to, let's say, dial thousands and thousands of people. The next one would be paid ads, which is the most scalable marketing channel, but it costs a lot of money. You need to spend thousands of dollars just to test what works. And remember, with cold email, I said it takes a couple of weeks to know exactly what works, what message resonates with your target audience. So yeah, comparing to paid ads, which takes a lot more money, a lot more effort to see what's working, cold email dominates here as well. Social selling or content like posting on LinkedIn, posting on YouTube, posting on X, Instagram, it doesn't matter. That's a great marketing channel as well, and I do believe that you should start doing it as soon as possible. I personally regret not doing it for years. Like, I was focusing on all these other things, and it would be much easier if I started posting content way earlier. Especially since it boosts all the other channels. But relying on social media as the only marketing channel is, in my opinion, not the best strategy. Especially since you definitely want to introduce some direct response marketing, like with cold email or paid ads. To answer this point, social selling content on social media is great. You should definitely do it, but it takes a lot more time. The results are not that predictable. So yeah, again, in this case, especially if you're just starting out, cold email definitely beats social selling as well. Now, I won't go into too much detail about the entire cold email infrastructure and everything. I'll record separate videos for that, since it would take hours to explain everything in detail. But here's a couple of different things that you need configured in order to make cold email work. The first one is infrastructure and deliverability. It doesn't matter, you can have the best copy in the world. You can build the perfect lead list, but if your emails are landing in spam, no one will see them. It doesn't matter how good they are. So what we want to do is we want to have good domain and account reputation. We want to purchase separate domains dedicated to cold email, and we want to configure Google Workspace accounts on those domains. The next one is warm up. We want to warm up all these accounts and domains for at least 2 weeks before even launching our cold email campaigns. And we want to optimize deliverability by clearing our copy, not using spam words, not using links or images in the initial email, and so on. The next one would be a lead list. Each of these pillars is very important, because again, you can have the perfect copy, but if you're messaging wrong people, it doesn't really matter. So you want to focus on the right prospects for your offer. You want to make sure you find their verified emails. Now, this is one of the most important pieces, because a lot of these B2B databases will actually sell you leads, sell you contact information, which is completely invalid, because they don't really care. They're charging you per credit. They just give you the email, and it's on you to actually verify the email. And finally, high quality segmentation. Like, you can't send the exact same message to everyone. You definitely need to have at least different categories of your ICP. When it comes to copywriting, how I look at this is, imagine you're opening up your ideal client's website, and then you're thinking about, how can I make this email as personalized and as relevant as possible if I were doing it manually? So that's the approach I take, even when I scale it with software and with the AI. I try to imagine what it would look like if I was manually sending all these emails, and then, and only then, I use AI to personalize thousands of emails at scale. That's the first thing. The second thing is clear value proposition. You want to have the exact offer. You want to make it tangible, measurable, and the recipients of your cold emails need to immediately understand what you can do for them and how they can benefit from replying to this email. And lastly, compelling subject line. This is not a huge thing like most people do. Subject lines are actually less important than most people believe, especially since when people receive notification about a new email on their phones, they can see the subject line and the first sentence. So even if you type random stuff in the subject line, people will still see the beginning of your message, and it actually makes them open the message even more than the subject line itself. And finally, when we have all these systems set up, we are sending highly personalized emails at scale, we want to have a proper inbox management system in place, which means that we need to get back to leads within minutes. If you receive a positive reply, you offer someone, hey, can I send you a document that explains how we can help you solve this specific problem, and they say, yes, I'm interested. They are interested right now. They won't be interested in 24 hours or 2 weeks. I saw some companies replying to their interested leads in 10 or 15 days. Like, by this time tomorrow, people already forgot who you are. So you need to get back to them immediately, which is exactly why we've built an AI inbox manager who's trained on our offer, our pricing, case studies, and everything that can get back to leads within minutes. It usually takes us 1 or 2 minutes to get back to every single lead, which drastically increased our conversion rates. And finally, follow-up sequences, both in the cold email, initial cold email sequence as well. So if someone doesn't reply to your first cold email, you want to send 1 or 2 more emails. And also when they reply and you deliver the lead magnet, the video, the document, whatever you promise them, you still want to keep following up with these leads, because most often people forget about it. So you want to constantly remind them that you can actually help them. Lastly, and maybe the most important thing when it comes to the cold email funnels, is that there's an X factor when it comes to email, and X in this case means multiply. So we have all these core components, and you can imagine that there's a multiply sign between all these core pillars, which means that neither of them can be 0 if you want to have an actual output. So everything in this system has to work, has to be at least decent, so you can get the results that you desire. So if you have the perfect list, you have the perfect deliverability, but you're reaching out to wrong people, it doesn't work. You have the best list possible, the best copy, but your inbox reputation is very low, you're not getting results. So there's a multiply sign in between, which means that every single pillar has to be at least decent for you to get the results. So for cold email to be predictable and scalable, all these core pillars have to work together. Now, if you are not sure whether cold email is the right strategy for you or if it still works, I really hope this video changed your mind, because I assure you, you should definitely try it. I scaled my software development agency to $1.7 million per year solely through cold email. So yes, to answer the question, it still works. You just need to configure it properly. Now, if you like this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because I'll be posting videos like this every single week.